Black Ops 6 had their official direct showcase on Sunday, and they spent 20 info-packed minutes giving us a ton of new information and exciting details about Black Ops 6. The showcase was so full of information, I had to go back and watch it on half speed just to catch everything in the showcase. Not sure if it was best or worst 40 minutes of my life, but regardless, that's 40 minutes I spent on Call of Duty. Regardless, I distilled all this information down into the biggest news of the event, so let's dive into the new changes to the campaign, the multiplayer, the zombies, and the mythical new Omni movement system that will change Call of Duty like never before. Anyways, let's dive right in. So first off, the campaign was easily the biggest part of the showcase. There was a ton of information about the campaign, and Call of Duty revealed some secrets to us that we weren't expecting. First off, Woods is in the campaign and is in fact a huge part of it. We spend the campaign with Woods exploring his role in the CIA after he was kneecapped by Raul Menendez. And with Woods acting as our headquarters guy, the man behind the comms calling the shots, it's a pretty cool situation. However, as Wood loses his ability to operate the field, he takes under his wing a young Troy Marshall, a successor and protege to Frank Woods. Where Woods' leadership and command abilities make him a great commander from headquarters, Troy Marshall is an excellent field operative who adjusts to the situation on the fly as he commands and operates and logically makes decisions in combat situations, often making the correct choice in difficult situations. And you can make a difficult choice and like the video because it really helps me out. But anyways, Troy Marshall is our field operative and he's our leader of our team. He's who we report to directly in Black Ops 6, but he is not the main character. Our main character is someone we actually haven't met yet, and his name is Case. Case is our main character we play as through the campaign. Now, we don't know a lot about him, but we know he's an American white Caucasian male. He reports directly to Troy Marshall, and Troy Marshall reports to Woods. Now, everyone on this team gets burned at some point in the campaign, and we really don't know what happened, why these guys got burned, and why they have to go rogue, but Case is the character you play as. Now, interestingly, Case is not one of the multiplayer operatives we have after the campaign ends, hinting that he may die or he may not be around after the campaign ends for some reason. Not entirely sure what yet, but we'll talk about those operatives again here in a minute. Regardless, we know who our heroes are. But now that we talked about our good guys, let's talk about the bad guys, the villains, the antagonists, this mythical shadow organization called Pantheon. Now, Call of Duty has told us the villain of the game is Pantheon, a rogue shadow organization operating within the CIA that is trying to set off a massive nuclear or some other type of powerful weapon of mass destruction. Not really clear yet what is going on, but it appears it might be a biohazard weapon or a chemical weapon. Regardless, they are this evil kind of group that we're fighting in the game, and Pantheon is this shadow organization. However, they are operating within the CIA under the cover of a division called the Advanced Technologies and Securities Division. Now, this is a completely made-up division. They don't exist in the real world. There's no record of them in any type of CIA doctrine I've tried to look up. So the only thing I can figure is the Advanced Technologies and Security Division is actually just an umbrella term for Pantheon. They all have all their personnel under this kind of Advanced Technologies and Securities, but it appears they may have something going on with MK Ultra and some type of mind control, but that's a whole separate story for a separate video. It's an organization, though, with unknown goals and may in fact have some type of tie to Russia. Interestingly, we see in the trailer there appears to be a mission set in the Vorkuta prison complex where Alex Mason was held in Black Ops 1. There's a lot of things that are very similar here, but that's, again, a video story for another video. But interestingly, we actually have two factions that kind of get pulled over into the multiplayer. They're both in the campaign, and we have the good guys, or the guys we play as, and the maybe not bad guys, but they're definitely a faction that we're fighting against in the story. So the two factions we have are the Crimson 1 operators and the Black Ops CIA rogues. So the CIA rogues are the ones that we play as in the campaign. Marshall, Woods, this kind of team that's been disavowed in the Black Ops 6 campaign, and we got to figure out why this team got disavowed and what they're trying to do and what they're really trying to accomplish. Now, not necessarily bad guys, the Crimson 1 team is interesting because we're fighting against them and we see them in the campaign as one of the factions we're fighting against. What you can see so far based on leaks is the Crimson 1 team is not necessarily bad guys, they're just fighting under orders from Pantheon and they assume that we're the bad guys. So maybe not necessarily the bad guys or the good guys here, but nonetheless these two sides are fighting. Now, the multiplayer for Black Ops 6 is going to be pretty awesome because we're going to get 30 to 35 weapons that are going to be pulled over from Black Ops Cold War or other Black Ops games that should feel pretty familiar to us. We're also going to be getting about 15 to 20 weapons pulled over from other Call of Duty games that should feel pretty familiar as well. Like the AS Val is something we're getting in the Black Ops 6 campaign, but the AS Val's never been any of the Black Ops 6 stories or campaigns or multiplayer so far. So it'll be interesting to see this effect in multiplayer, but Call of Duty's also introducing 12 to 15 brand new weapons that have never been in a Call of Duty title before. Now, this is pretty interesting because they kind of tied it in by saying, well, these are CIA rogue operatives. They're just getting their hands on whatever the weapons they can. They might not be the best, but it's what they can afford and what they can get. Now, one other thing that I should mention is that something that Call of Duty has not really told us much more details on. They said that every individual weapon will have its own unique weapon attachment, but there was no further details given on that. So, to me, I kind of think this is going to go back to like Black Ops Cold War style, where every weapon has its own attachments you have to unlock for it, and there's no shared attachments. But considering Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, and Black Ops 6 are all going to be pulled over into the same kind of Warzone story, they might have this kind of revolving list of just attachments and things that get pulled over for Warzone. I really couldn't tell you much more on that though. But personally, I'm very excited by the fact that we're getting 16 maps at launch with Call of Duty, and 15 of the 16 will be brand new, never before seen Call of Duty maps created from the ground up specifically for Black Ops 6 multiplayer. So we have 12 of these maps are going to be the core 6v6 maps. We're going to have 4 maps being strike maps, and the one map that is not going to be a brand new map is one that's actually going to be pretty familiar to any Black Ops player ever. It's going to be Nuketown. Nuketown, however, is going to be a sand-swept kind of overcast area with a desert that has reclaimed this nuclear testing site. And this other multiplayer map that was kind of showcased in great detail was this train overrun map with like kind of a bunch of abandoned trains, lots of fighting going on. It was something Call of Duty really took the time to highlight, so this might be one of our beta maps we're getting. But moving on, the zombie side of things. Zombies we really didn't get that much information about at the Black Ops 6 Direct event. They're trying to play everything with zombies close to the chest. Now, luckily, I already did a video where I talked about all of this stuff in Black Ops 6 Zombies, but let's talk about some of the basics we know that Call of Duty did confirm. They're giving us 2 maps at launch. We're going to get Terminus Island, and we're going to get Liberty Falls. Now, with these 2 maps, we also know that there's going to be a set crew returning back to Black Ops 6 Zombies. With the last 3 Call of Duty titles, we've had these kind of strike team, fire teams where you could pick your own operator to take into the Call of Duty zombie story. With Black Ops 6 returning to a set team, there is going to be a set selection of characters that are going to have specific dialogue, and later on down the line, Call of Duty might bring back the fire teams depending on the reaction to set crews. But personally, I think that set crews are really important for the zombie story, as it helps drive that narrative a lot better than just having a random strike team. But notably, one of the maps that we did get shown was actually the Terminus Island. Now, this island actually has a massive AAA cannon that is going to be powered by Ethereum. So it's pretty interesting to see this, but Call of Duty's biggest news with Black Ops 6 Zombies is something they didn't say in the video, but they hinted at a lot. Gobble Gum. Gobble Gum is returning in Call of Duty Zombies, and so something a lot of people really liked because they were small power-ups that would make Call of Duty Zombies easier, and they often made completing Easter eggs and completing Zombies map stories much easier. And as a matter of fact, I broke down all the Call of Duty Zombies leaks that we had so far in a separate video. I'll include a link to it at the end of the video, so make sure you stick around for that. But let's talk about the biggest, most important piece of information we got from Black Ops 6 Direct: the Omni movement system. Now, the Omni movement system is amazing and will change Call of Duty in the best way possible. So Omni movement is based on your real life movement, how you act in real life. It doesn't hold itself to video game logic. In real life, I can sprint any direction I want and face any direction I want while sprinting. It's something that you can just do. It's not something that's kind of unusual. In Call of Duty logic, you could only sprint forward in the direction you're facing. So your kind of sprints kind of turn into more of like rounded curves when you're going around corners. But with Black Ops 6 now, you can actually run laterally. You can run left, right, backwards, forwards, and still have full range of motion. And with this new Omni movement system, Call of Duty is introducing slides for all directions. So if you're running left and you're facing forwards and you decide to go into a slide, you will slide while still facing the same direction. You don't have to be looking where you're sliding. Now, it's something that Call of Duty has added that's going to change multiplayer. Because along with the sliding, you can also do diving. You can chain all this stuff together, and tactical sprint is returning. Now, Omni movement really needs its own video to talk about everything that's coming, but when you look at the gameplay of it and you watch how it's played, it is quite literally the best change to Call of Duty's movement system since Modern Warfare 2019. It is going to change the way you play Black Ops 6, and it's going to add a new level of realism. And one of the things that I'm personally very excited about with Omni movement is when you actually like go prone. In old Call of Duty games, you would kind of spin around like a top on the ground, rotating from, well, your pelvis. In Black Ops 6, you'll actually rotate from just your shoulders. So wherever your legs are, they'll stay pretty much there. They won't turn entirely unless you start crawling. You can do a complete 360 from your shoulders and never actually like spin around like a top. It's something I'm pretty excited for, but it's something I need to talk about a lot more in depth in a separate video. So make sure you subscribe down below for all of your Call of Duty information, and click on this video right here if you want to know about Black Ops 6 Zombies. Until next time, I am IceBurgz, your Call of Duty informant. Stay frosty.